Good morning, children, and welcome back to the digital classroom of Vikram Juneja. In my previous video, I had done the poem Daffodils by William Wordsworth. We had done the line by line explanation of this poem. In today's video, I'm going to deal with the theme, the title justification, and various literary devices used in this poem. Let's begin with the theme of Daffodils by William Wordsworth. In my opinion, this is one of the most beautiful and heartfelt poems ever written in English language. The most prevalent themes in the poem are overcoming feelings of sadness and the beauty of nature. It is thanks to the beauty of a field of daffodils that the poet happens upon that he is able to leave his feelings of melancholy behind. Wordsworth describes himself at the beginning of the poem as being lonely as a cloud. This implies feelings of unhappiness. We all know we aren't happy when we are lonely. Suddenly, though, he is not alone, but in the company of a host of dancing daffodils. This display of natural beauty brings him joy and possibly reminds him that he is part of something far bigger than he could ever fathom. In a nutshell, the daffodils empowered him to put his problems into perspective and transform his sadness into joy. And moreover, it also empowers him to reflect upon the beauty of what he had seen. So this was with regard to the themes of daffodils. Now I'm going to tell you the title. How come the title of this poem is justified? The title of this poem is Daffodils. And children, you all need to know this thing that earlier the original title of this poem was I Wandered Lonely as a Cloud, which was later changed to Daffodils. The title of this poem, Daffodils, it is called this as the theme of the poem is directly linked with the poet's personal experience with a field of daffodils. The poet is reflecting on a memory and describes it in the poem. So the poet is a nature poet. He picks up and he actually takes inspiration of writing this poem Daffodils because he picks up that particular experience from nature where these golden daffodils are growing, and he writes a poem on daffodils describing the beauty. They enhance the beauty of nature as a whole. That's why the title of the poem, which is directly linked to the theme of the poem, is justified. So this was with regard to the title justification. Now we are going to deal with the poetic devices used in daffodils. In the poem, Wordsworth has made use of some of the following poetic devices: alliteration, simile, hyperbole, personification, imagery, and symbol. We are going to deal with these poetic devices one by one. The first of the literary devices is alliteration. The various examples of alliteration used in this poem are lonely as a cloud. Children, as you know, alliteration is a repetition of consonant sound. Here, the sound of consonant L is repeated in line 1. Another example of alliteration is high over vales and hills. Children, if you can see in this line, that's the second line of the poem, the consonant H is repeated. Another such example is when all at one, that is in line 3. Note that the W and O have the same consonant sound. One more example of alliteration is golden daffodils in line 4. Here, the sound of D, that is another consonant sound, it has been repeated. And one more example of alliteration is beside the lake, beneath the trees, where B sound has been repeated. The next of the literary devices is simile. Now, children, there are two similes used in this poem. I wandered lonely as a cloud. The poet compares his loneliness with a single cloud. The second is used in the opening line of the second stanza, which says, continuous as stars that shine. Here, Wordsworth compares the endless row of daffodils with countless stars. Another such literary device used by the poet here is hyperbole. The line 10,000 saw I at a glance is an exaggerated statement and a hyperbole, describing the scene of 10,000 daffodils altogether. No hillside could contain as many flowers. Then the poet has used personification as another literary device in this poem. Read the opening line of the poem, I wandered lonely as a cloud. This line makes the very nice use of personification as well as simile. The poet assumes himself to be a cloud floating in the sky. Lonely as a cloud is personification because how can a cloud acquire a human state of being lonely? The speaker uses personification when he says that the daffodils were tossing their heads as if they were dancing. The waves beside them danced is also another example of personification, where the waves have been given the human trait by William Wordsworth and they have been shown dancing. The next literary device used by the poet is imagery. The poem is rich in imagery. His choice of words is soft and gentle, simple and melodious, and it is almost as if there is silent music in the background to which the daffodils are dancing. The poem paints images of lakes, fields, trees, stars. Wordsworth continuously praises the daffodils, comparing them to a crowd, a host of golden daffodils. Another literary device used by the poet in this poem is symbols. The poet uses daffodils as a symbol for rebirth, a new beginning for human beings who are blessed with the beautiful and graceful nature. Since the flower daffodils has a very short life, the poet has chosen this particular flower to symbolize that life is short and that we must use the short time which we have to make the most of it. So children, this was with regard to the poem Daffodils. I hope you have understood the poem. You are going to go through this video thoroughly. I'm going to attach a worksheet which contains an extract followed by 5 questions. I'll expect you to attempt this worksheet in your fair literature and English notebooks. Now I'm going to come up with the next video and that will be about a story. Till then, goodbye. Thank you so much. God bless you all. Have a nice day.